Hi, Yuni, you can get started.
Okay.
Are you there?
Yes. Yes, I am.
You can get started.
Okay. Good evening, dear Toastmasters and friends. Welcome to the District 67 Toastmasters Pathways Interactive Online Training. Everyone here, including me, has chosen one of the best ways to spend our Saturday evening, because today we have three excellent speakers and exemplary leaders from the Toastmasters community. We have Simone Nash, who is the 2018 and 2019 District Director. She will reflect on her completion of the path, Engaging Humor. We also have Caroline. She will present a proposal, Ancient Wisdom Can Help, which is her Level 3 project in the path Innovative Planning. Finally, we also have Paul Sharpe. He is the 2020 District 67 International Speech Champion. He will introduce the Toastmasters mentoring system, and that's a project required for all paths. Are you excited about all those presentations? In order to have a smooth and pleasant training event, please allow me to remind everyone about two important things. First, please keep yourself muted throughout the meeting to prevent noises from the background. Second, there is a Q&A session after each presentation. Please type your questions into the chat box for me, the host, to read out later. At Toastmasters meetings, we have plenty of opportunities to listen and speak, but we don't really have many chances to ask questions. So we are all encouraged to practice asking questions at a training session like this. Hope to see your questions in the chat box later. And please note that for Caroline's session, her Q&A will be conducted in Chinese. So please ask questions in Chinese, or if you want, you can still type in your questions in English, and I'll translate it to Caroline. Okay, so without further delay, let's get started with the first presentation. Our first speaker today is Simone Nash, a triple DTM. That means she has gotten the DTM title 3 times. She is also the first Pathways DTM in Taiwan. Simone has completed 4 paths: Innovative Planning, Team Collaboration, Presentation Mastery, and Engaging Humor. Isn't that amazing? 4 very different paths. Simone is our 2018 to 2019 District Director, and currently she's the District Pathways Program Chair. Simone told me that she joined Toastmasters 9 years ago to become a more entertaining speaker, and she hasn't only made some progress in that, but also found the joy of being a servant leader in a nonprofit organization. 2 months ago, my mother club, the China Toastmasters Club, had the honor to have Simone as our special guest and online meeting advisor. At the meeting, she gave us plenty of wonderful advice. We are all very grateful for her help and support. And let's talk about her project today. Okay, her project is Reflect on the Path. It's a required speech for every path. The purpose of this project is to reflect on everyone's growth during the completion of an entire path. And the speaker is going to share her experience in completing the path. Let's welcome Simone Nash.
Engaging humor. This is the 11th path in the Pathways program. And when I first heard that this was going to come out, I really just couldn't wait. Practicing humor is one of the biggest reasons why I joined Toastmasters. You see, I'm a very serious person, very quiet. I'm a true introvert. So the reason I joined Toastmasters was to learn how to speak with in a way that people would want to listen. And why I chose this path was because I saw, humor. I could practice more humorous speeches. In fact, why I joined Toastmasters was to become more entertaining. So it's not only humor, I've even made somebody cry in the audience with a very sad story. But these are all great examples of how you can entertain a speaker, entertain the audience, and that's why I joined Toastmasters. But with engaging humor, it's all about humor, trying to make your audience laugh. And do we want to make our audience laugh? Sure, why not? Don't you get a real rush if you say something and suddenly the audience laughs? It's an amazing feeling. And I'm not a naturally humorous person. I do try to be sometimes. So I found this path to be exceptionally useful for me. And this path is one of the 3 paths that focus purely on speaking skills. There are no leadership projects. So I thought, why not take the challenge? And I would really recommend this to anyone who's interested in developing yourselves as a more entertaining speaker. And you don't need to do any leadership projects. So this is a great path if you want to focus on speaking. And then I want to share with you some highlights from each of the 5 levels. So level 1, you might say, wow, level 1. Isn't level 1 the same for every path? Yes, it is. But so what? You know what I did? I made all of the 4 speeches in level 1 my practice to develop humorous speeches. So my icebreaker, my other 3 speeches in level 1, all of the 4 speeches were, well, I tried to make them humorous. So you can start from level 1 to make the most out of this path. And then level 2, the most interesting thing about level 2 is the required project. Know your sense of humor. So this is where the project wants you to start to identify or try to discover what makes you laugh. What kind of sense of humor do you have? Some people laugh at very simple, funny things that happen in life. Other people need a more involved story, twists and turns. But whatever your style, your sense of humor is, you can start to share that in level 2. And the very important thing about this path, engaging humor, is you need to develop the habit of collecting humorous stories from life. So you will see, like, for example, level 2, this required project, you share a humorous speech, but you share a speech, but you need to include in that speech at least one short story, an anecdote, or a slightly longer story that will entertain and bring humor to your audience. So about collecting humorous stories, how do you do that? Actually, that's one of my favorite pastimes. I go to a coffee shop when I've got, a bit of time to spare, and I will just sit there and think back to what's happened over the period of my life, okay? I've got decades to reflect back on. And I think I will try to focus on one particular event. For example, when I visited Paris 5 years ago, for example. And then I will think back to just start to replay all the pictures in my mind about that trip to Paris. And then I will think about, the things that happened. And then bam, suddenly something funny that happened to me will come to my mind. This is the process that I use. So, for example, in Paris, I had the most unbelievable thing happen to me. I overcame my fear of heights by climbing on the outside of the Eiffel Tower, because the lines to go up the lift from the ground floor to go up the Eiffel Tower, the lines extended like the equivalent of blocks. And people were saying, if you want to go up to the mid-level, you can climb up the stairs on the side. But the stairs are all exposed. So you can imagine, it was a windy day. You can imagine just the crazy feeling I was getting when I was doing that. So you see, that's an amazing story. And if you add your facial expressions, right, and your vocal variety, your body language, you can make a really, really entertaining speech. So this is actually the key point I want to share with you as I reflect on this path. How to start collecting funny stories, your own personal funny stories. If you just decide, okay, now I'm going to think about all the funny things that happened to me, even I couldn't do it. It's like too much. So what I said I do is that I will think back to some part of my life. For example, the trip to Paris. And then I will focus on that and think back, replay the pictures, and then the stories will come. So try that. Okay, and level 3, the required project, level 3, engage your audience with humor. So this is where the project asks you to focus on a message and deliver that message with humor. Because if you can use humor to deliver your message, chances are that the audience will absorb your message or receive your message a lot more clearly than if you were just to tell them in a normal way. So that's what the focus is on this speech. And again, it asks you to include at least one anecdote. An anecdote is a short story in your speech to bring humor. So this project does not require you to make your audience laugh from the first minute to the last minute. But no, that's not the point. If you are able to do that, congratulations, you must be a very funny person. But for most people, and including myself, if we can make the audience laugh a few times throughout the speech, I will consider that to be very successful. So I think we can aim for that. And level 4, oh my goodness. This was a really big challenge, right? You can see what I've written there, major challenge. Power of humor in an impromptu speech. We know what an impromptu speech is, right? So you don't know what the topic is and you have to go and do a speech. Well, in this case, the requirement is that the project will give you a list of 12 topics. And you are supposed to give that list of 12 topics to your Toastmaster of the evening. And that Toastmaster of the evening will decide which 2 topics you're going to speak on. You might say, well, okay, I'm going to do two to 3 minute speeches, and okay, 12 topics. I will prepare a mini speech for every single one of them. Well, good luck to you if you'd like to do that. But, but what I did, and the purpose of this project is that you don't prepare. Of course, you can read what the topics are, but you don't prepare your speeches. What you are supposed to do in this project actually is to come up with a number of different kinds of funny stories, personal stories. Know those stories like the back of your hand. And then when you hear the first topic, you've got to like go through in your mind within seconds to pull out the most suitable story, and then deliver your 2 to 3 minute impromptu humorous speech. And you're going to do that twice. Isn't that just sounds like the craziest challenge? And I tell you what, my audience were in awe. Not necessarily because I was that funny. They just couldn't believe there could be a project like this, so challenging. So you deliver your first speech after you get the topic. After you finish that, then you get the second topic and you deliver your second speech. I love this project. I want to do it again. So if for nothing else, do the engaging humor to take on this challenge. And then level five, deliver your message with humor. Well, level 4 was a big challenge for sure. And level 5, also a really big challenge, maybe in a different way. For me, I don't have a good memory. So when I saw, wow, 18 to 22 minutes keynote speech, humorous keynote speech, that frightened the life out of me because I was worried that I would not be able to remember everything. However, just treat it like a normal speech, but you have to have you have to have a longer story and a stronger message. So what I did actually here is my speech was about doing evaluations. So actually it was part training and part humorous speech. So as I was delivering this keynote about evaluations, my audience laughed because I designed certain points in my speech to try to make them laugh. I survived it, and I can't wait to try it again. You know, in this engaging humor path, the most important thing is to start collecting your stories. So try the technique that I mentioned, and also, okay. Can the timer please type the time for me, please? Okay. And the most important thing for this path is to develop your list of stories. Get a notebook and start recording your own personal stories. Even if you're not doing this path, you can still practice delivering speeches with humor in your other paths. So all in all, I just couldn't say enough good things about this path. Go for the challenge. Engage in humor. Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Simone. Wow, that was wonderful. So I have always found that impromptu speech is already very, very hard, and you have to involve humor into your impromptu speech. That's even harder. Yes, like major challenges. Thank you so much for your sharing. So please now type in your questions for Simone into the chat box, and I will read out your questions out later for Simone. So while we are waiting for the questions coming in, so I have the first question for Simone. So you have completed more than 1/3 of the 11 paths That's really amazing. So may I know how or why you chose those paths? And sorry, I'm looking at the, okay. How and why you chose those paths? And do you have any advice for pathways beginners who are now choosing their first path?
Okay, thanks for your question. My 4 paths are innovative planning. That's the first one. And I really, was just so excited to get started with pathways. I didn't really look into too much detail about what the path was about. I just jumped in. And then after I jumped in, I realized, oh my goodness, this path has a required HPL. But anyway, after I overcame that, I got the path done. It was a really great path. It's got a mix of speech making and leadership skills. And of course, having the HPL makes it a little bit more challenging.
Yes.
And then my second path was team collaboration. Team collaboration is a wonderful path. I really would recommend that to any member who would like to do speaking skill, projects, and also some light leadership, team leading projects. So there are a number of really nice small projects. So anything, if you are an officer, especially if you're an officer, do that path, because there's so many things that you do in your normal, life as an officer that could fulfill this path. And then the other 2 paths I did were both focused on speaking skills, presentation mastery, and engaging humor. So I did, of course, you know why I did engaging humor, is for the humor. And I did the PM path because it's still the #1 most popular path in the world. And so I wanted to experience that, so that when I recommend that to members, I know I actually, at least I know what's involved. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think because I remember when I was choosing my first path, I really didn't know what to do. So yeah, so that's very great. We have the experienced person who can be our mentor of choosing a path. Okay, now we have questions. So Alex is asking how to overcome the fear of seeing the audience face.
Well, that just takes practice, I think. I remember when I first joined Toastmasters, I thought to myself, well, I come from a professional background where I did business or technical presentations every week for 20 years, But guess what? When I first got onto the stage, I was a shaking mess. Not just my body, but my voice was shaking too. And I was sweating like crazy. I was just, I don't know what happened to me. That's a totally different stage when you're delivering speeches in Toastmasters. So it's a great challenge. And I think the way to overcome the fear of looking at the audience is to view your audience as your supporters. So that's what I did, and that helped a lot. And of course, doing speech after speech after speech, I never said no to the VPE. So always say yes to the VPE. Get your time on the stage. Stage time, stage time, stage time, right? That's what the past champion has said. It's so important. View your audience as your supporters and just keep practicing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Stage time and view your audience as supporters. Very good principles. And our next question is, so how do you handle the challenge of delivering humor? Because sometimes the audience just doesn't respond to your humor.
Yeah, and I have experienced that myself. I've also seen other people try to deliver humor and somehow it just didn't come across. Sometimes the humor doesn't come across because of the way it was delivered. In my experience, what I've seen is it may not necessarily be that there's anything wrong with the content. Maybe if the content was delivered in a way that was more expressive, so you are really enthusiastic about it, and you just exude the energy, right? You can't be humorous without energy, surely. So you gotta be energetic about it, and you have to deliver the punchline in a way that the audience is going to catch it. They can't avoid the punchline. So sometimes I hear people deliver a punchline in a very flat way, or they say it too fast, or they don't pause enough, maybe before or after. So it seems like the punchline gets lost. It gets connected with the previous sentence and the next sentence. So very important, when you want the audience to hear your punchline, you got to build up to it, not just from your design of your content, but also how you deliver with your voice. You can slow down, you can change your vocal variety. There's lots of things you can do to make sure your audience is not going to miss your punchline. And I think the delivery style plays a huge part in how successful you are in making your audience laugh. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Great answer. So sometimes the problem is not what, it's how. Very
Yes.
good, thank you. So we have two people are asking similar questions. So if I am a serious person, or I'm a person without the sense of humor, can I choose this path, engaging humor?
Absolutely. I would definitely say you must choose this path. It will enlighten you, I'm sure. I am a serious person. I'm an introvert. But you know what? I get passionate about things. And I've learned to show my passion. So it's okay to show your passion. People appreciate that. And I think it's really, really important you got to talk to yourself. Just let yourself try. Don't be afraid. You're not going to embarrass yourself. Remember, your audience are your supporters. So just step out of your comfort zone. I know that's very cliche, but what I did in the beginning when I started to do things on stage that were just not like me, an introvert. So I would almost like act. I would fake it until I could make it. So I would almost be like an actress on stage. So somebody even commented, wow, when they saw me sitting down before I walked to the stage, I looked like a quiet little mouse. But then when I was on the stage, I was booming. I was making people laugh. I was so different. And it's in the beginning, I was just acting, practicing and acting, and I was having fun. So you can try that. Fake it until you make it. One day, it becomes natural. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's very useful. Yes, fake it until you make it. And acting and having fun. Very good. Thank you. And one question about warming up. So how do you warm up before your speech? Is it good to chit-chat with the audience for a few seconds at the beginning of the speech?
Well, what I nowadays, I would say I'm very comfortable nowadays in my own skin as an entertaining speaker. So I'm pretty calm before I get on stage. I don't think about it too much. I focus probably more on just being relaxed. So to be honest, I don't do anything very special before my speeches now. I'd be open to having a bit of a conversation with someone next to me. That's fine. Because I just keep myself relaxed. I don't put any pressure on myself before I go on stage. Of course, in the past, I used to be very nervous before hearing my name, to be introduced onto the stage. But it's been a few years now where I don't have any feeling. I'm relaxed. And then when I go on stage, I perform. And that's what I do now. So I would say just try to relax. Don't force yourself, and the key is to enjoy. Maybe I feel relaxed because I enjoy doing the speeches so much. I love doing speeches. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, if we cannot enjoy our own speech, how can we expect our audience to enjoy? Thank you. So two more similar questions. So earlier you talked about it's probably about how you deliver the speech, not about what. But these two questions are asking, so what if on the stage it does happen, the audience just doesn't laugh to your humor? What do you do when you are on stage? And how do you make serious audience, not yourself, serious audience to laugh?
Okay. I think most audiences are pretty serious. But again, I view them as my supporters. So I think the good thing about Toastmasters is nobody's going to, no one's going to be happy if you fail. So people are going to try to support you, and I think that, we all have this experience where we think that what we're going to say is funny. We even try our best to make the humor come to life. But if people don't laugh, so what? Just keep going, right? What can you do? If you are not delivering your humorous story with enough energy and facial expressions and all those other tools I mentioned. If you're not doing that and you catch yourself not doing that, and if you can, start to do it, maybe that will help. But if you're already doing that and you're already doing your best and people are not laughing, it's okay. Just keep going. Just finish your speech to the best of your ability. And then try to reflect back on why it wasn't funny. I've had a couple of those situations for sure. Maybe not the whole speech, but maybe some part of my speech I thought it would be funnier. How come people didn't laugh? So I may go and seek some feedback. And it's amazing. People will just tell you what they think, and then you can just move on. Keep improving. Keep trying. It doesn't matter.
Thank you so much. Okay, although we still have a few questions coming in, it seems that time is up. So we will keep it for later. If Simone doesn't mind, could you please stay for like more communication and more Q&A session at the end of the whole session? Thank you so much, Simone. That was very, very helpful and inspiring. Okay, so thank you. Now we will have the second speech today. Our second speaker today is Carol Lin, or she's even more well known with her Chinese name, Lin Huijun. As the person with this name has won almost every championship possible in Mandarin and Taiwanese speech contests. You name the contest and she is the champion. Mandarin speech contest, champion. Mandarin humorous speech contest, champion. Mandarin table topics contest, champion. The same results with all the Taiwanese speech contests. Earlier this year, Carol decided to challenge herself with English International Speech Contest. And you know what? She won the division champion as a first-time contestant. That's wonderful, and that's very inspiring. She is really a role model for all of us junior Toastmasters. Career-wise, Carol is a certified counselor and hypnotherapist. She is the founder and general manager of Taiyi Counseling Company. She has helped many people and organizations to become more active, positive, and effective. Her project today is Level 3 project. It's a required project called Present a Proposal. And it's a 5 to 7 minute speech. And the title is Ancient Wisdom Can Help. Yes, and the purpose of the project is to introduce how to select key information to present in a proposal to build a case with supporting evidence and realistic solutions. Supporting evidence and realistic solutions. So the overview is to develop a proposal to improve any area of your life. Let's welcome Caroline. Ancient Wisdom Can Help. Yes, please. Oh, yes.
Please turn off the PPT. Thank you. Turn it off.
Turn off. Turn off. Thank you. Okay.
Have one thing in common. What's that? They are all very wise and dead. As a human being, we always have a lot of questions in our mind. Where did I come from? Where am I going to? What are the purposes in our life? Other than these questions, these philosophical questions, we also face many little problems in our lives. So we often feel worried, anxious, frightened, and even lack of confidence. Tell me, when you have these feelings, who would you go for help? Fortune tellers? Not bad. Toastmaster members? Good. Shih, I respect your choice. From my observation, most of us would ask for advice from our friends. But, dear members, your friends are usually not as smart as they look like. Some will give a lot of ideas, bad ideas, and make things even worse. My friend Laura needed a higher salary to pay her mortgage. She was struggling if she should change a company. Her best friend, Betty, told her, "No worries, you should go travel to broaden your horizon." She even told her, "Don't let your job kill you." A month later, Betty and Laura sent me a beautiful postcard from Paris. A few weeks later, Laura called me, crying. She got nothing to do with her finance situation. She felt even more depressed. In Taiwan, every year, there are more than 400,000 people go visit doctors for depression. My dear friends, trust me, if you want to solve your problem by consulting someone, make sure you pick up a friend who is smart enough or professional enough or both smart and professional enough, like you know who. In fact, when we got moody, we become dumb. When we stay calm, we turn smart. Do you want to become smarter? Do you want to stay cool and calm? I would like to introduce a great tool to you. PPT, please. In 2018, a smart philosophical therapist, Carol Lee, invented something magical called 五行卡, 5-element cards. She wanted to help people stay reasonable and make smart decisions by themselves. How it works? When you face some difficult situation and feel hard to make decision, simply draw one card out of the 144 五行卡. Read out loud the words of wisdom on the cards. In 五行卡, there are 144 words of wisdom from Buddha, Confucius, Lao Tzu, and more. Their words of wisdom will inspire you, connect to your mind. Ancient wisdom can help you find your way out. And when you're feeling down, draw one card. It will help you to have conversation with yourself and find peace. Or you can even invite your friends, not for a cup of tea or coffee, but for a discussion about the inspiration. And everyone becomes smarter together. Guess what? My friend Laura tried it and listened to her heart. Now she lives happily and walks happily. Until now, my friend Laura and other people in the world accept the help from 五行卡. This card has helped thousands of people around the world, include Toastmaster members in Asia. Some people think 五行卡 is Oriental tarot card, but I think it's more powerful and realistic. Ancient wisdom really can help. My dear friends, do you want to have 五行卡? Check the website of Tai Company. Last but not least, Do you remember who is the genius inventor of 五行卡 Toastmaster?
Thank you so much, Carol. That was wonderful. That is really wisdom from ancient times. Okay, so 现在我们要开始用中文来进行 Caroline 的问答时间，请大家尽量用中文打在那个聊天室的信箱里面，那我会提出来帮大家提出来问 Carol。那照例我有第一个问题，可能跟五行卡不是很有关系，我要向 Carol 请教，因为 Carol 是真的很少数的多语的 Toastmasters， 因为我们看过很多双语的 Toastmasters， 那但是多语的 Carol 是国语、台语跟英语同时的 Toastmasters， 而且都在比赛，不但是 Toastmasters 的会员，而且在比赛中都取得了非常非常好的成绩。那可不可以请 Carol 谈一下作为一位多语的 Toastmasters 的好处跟应该注意的地方？谢谢。
多语的好处在 Toastmaster 里面是可以到各分会去走动，然后认识非常多的朋友。有很多人会开玩笑说：“哇，你怎么吃饱那么闲啊？参加那么多语言啊，英文、台语、国语。”但是实际上，大家就是用鼓励的性质在告诉我说，参加这一些语言的分会都有一个共同的核心价值，就是我们 Toastmaster 的价值。所以不管用什么语言，它都是在发挥我们的沟通与领导价值。那语言上，如果你会更多的语言，对沟通上当然是越有利。因为如果人家听到你说他熟悉的语言，他会觉得很亲切，在心理学上就是 rapport 会建立的比较好。这个也是一个领导很重要，也是我们在 Toastmaster 的4个核心价值里面的 respect。所以就像 Simone， 我第一次遇到 Simone 的时候，他讲国语的演讲，我非常的惊艳，所以我觉得说，哇，这个 Simone 他第一次我听到他说的是，千万不要问我你是不是外国人。我还记得他的这一篇演讲，我觉得非常有趣。这个就是我们第一个价值 respect。所以我们可以参加多语会是很幸福的一件事情。而且我觉得这个也是让我们学习沟通一个非常好的管道，所以我很鼓励大家多学几种语言。如果有机会，我们再来参加日文会这样子。阿里阿多，
太感谢了，谢谢您的回答，真的哇，马上会有4语的Caroline 的 Toastmasters， 哇，太值得佩服了。好，我们有了新的问题。那有一位会员可以希望您能再深入一点介绍五行卡的内容。
五行卡，五行卡其实是用中国的5项元素来做成的卡片，但是它又有6个向度。另外一个向度就是中国人特有的概念，叫做贵人的概念。所以木、火、土、金、水之外，还有一个贵人的概念。总共有24个节气，6个向度，所以24乘以6等于144。这个就是我们在研究《黄帝内经》跟这个心理学的时候，把它拿出来变成五行卡，能帮助你自己，让自己身心得到更安定、更平衡的一个方式。为什么五行卡会有用呢？其实它是经过特别的设计。很多人说这个是跟潜意识沟通的卡片，没有错。但是我不希望它成为一个很多人说啊怎么这么准啊，是不是可以拿来算命？这个不叫做算命，这个应该是跟你自己潜意识沟通，也是我们諮商师常常希望大家可以做到的一件事情，就是 往内求自己的力量，而不是往外求那些 fortune teller 师傅之类的。要有一个概念，就是你自己就是自己的师傅。
太好了，谢谢。所以一切还是要反求诸己，
是的，
就是不要外求哦。太好了，谢谢。然后对不起，这个是我的一个那个会议程序的一个小小的错误。刚才应该在 Q&A 之前，应该请您先分享一下您做这个 project 学习到的什么事物，或者是您认为做这个 project 有什么样的好处，可不可以请您分享一下？
我做这个 project 是因为我原本这个我有一点点修改，我现在把它修改成五行卡。之前我们是做一个介绍五行卡的一个video channel。我们发现一件非常好玩的事情，就是呢，只要有我脸出现的点阅率就会比较低，只要有美女出现的点阅率就会比较高。所以我们要告诉大家，那个 project 就是proposal 就是麻烦各位以后在拍 video 的时候，一定要放一个美女在旁边。所以下一次 Simone 你要跟我一起拍，这样我们的点阅率才会高。做这个 project 让我觉得很有趣，就是说，它可以让我 overview 整个做。因为我们常常去公司提案，所以我们在做提案的时候，我们要注意到哪一些重点？比如说，我们有提出问题，就像我前面说的，我们是不是身为人类有很多问题？然后再来就是有没有一个案例？我举了，在这个例子里面，我举了Laura 的案例。那他真的就寄了这个漂亮卡片给我，然后让自己的财务更糟糕，太好笑了。对不起，我们不能笑人家。好。然后我们就提出一个解决的办法，这个办法就是返回内心，问自己真正需要什么。所以我们諮商时常遇到很多人告诉我，他的问题就只有3个字，叫做钱不够。可是你要那么多钱干嘛呢？那我们就会开始往下諮商。所以如果他可以返回内心，回到自己去问这一些问题的话，他就会得到一个良好的解决。所以我在做这个 project 的时候，就又去更仔细的去思考，说我怎么样让大家更清楚明白它的功用。我觉得这是一个很好的 project， 我建议大家都要做这个 give our proposal 的这一个 present a proposal 的这个 project。
太好了，谢谢。您讲的让我非常想做这个 project。可是接着有一个相关的问题就是有一位会员问，就是如果我完全没有提案的经验，我要怎么样做准备呢？我要怎么样去创造出一个想法、一个提案，可以让我做这个 project？
太好了，因为之前也有会友问过我这个问题，他刚好也选到同一本，他说怎么办呢？我就是一个退休的公务人员，然后我现在就是整天闲在家里那我要做什么 project？ 那我就问他说，你不可能整天闲在家，如果整天闲在家就是躺在那边什么事都不做吗？他说没有，我有追剧啊。好，那我就跟他说太好了，你就做一个 project， 就是教人家如何追剧。追剧其实有很多技巧，比如说你要选怎么样的椅子好坐，你才可以追剧啊。因为如果椅子不好坐，你坐不久或者躺不久，那是不是就会很不舒服？所以追剧还是有需要的工具。然后比如说追剧的时候吃什么比较好？比如说吃咸酥鸡配秘鲁比较好，还是吃洋芋片比较好，还是吃生菜沙拉比较好？根据不负责任统计，没有人追剧在吃沙拉的，不知道为什么。应该是食用不方便，所以他就觉得说这个很有趣，所以他就真的做了一个追剧的 project。所以生活当中所有的东西都可以拿来做 project， 就是都可以拿来做 proposal， 会很有趣。
谢谢。所以要从生活上找灵感，随时随地的，也许有一点像 Simone 刚才提到的，要找到幽默的点，也是随时随地都要观察日常生活的过程跟需求。 谢谢，太好了。那还有一个问题是关于五行卡的，请问这个卡可以自己解读吗？还是需要请教咨商师？
太好了，这个问题是这样，这个卡在设计的时候，它有一点点就是小小的这个叫什么心机。这个心机就是希望大家都可以学会自己解读。现在手机很方便嘛，所以你只要把这些文字打上去，你就会发现有很多的解释，各家各派解释，你可以比对你的心境，然后来做上面的解读。曾经有一个在做讲师的人，他就买了五行卡之后，他抽出了一张卡片，叫做辅为不盈，故能避而星辰。他说这个太难了，是文言文，我的文言文非常不好，怎么办？我就跟他说，现在拿出你的手机，然后他就查了一下，他说啊，我懂了，然后就把手机关掉。其实我也不知道他懂了什么。其实他会说我懂了，是因为他内心提出一个问题，就是我想要问一个什么样的问题，我现在遭遇到什么样的状况。所以当你抽出了一张文言的卡片，文言文它有一个特性叫做理性文字，古代的文字其实没有现在这么多，所以它会用一个文字代表可能4、5个意思，所以你就可以有不同的解释，比对你的心境。所以这144张卡片都是精心挑选设计过，所以不用害怕，只要拿到卡片，自己解读一下。如果你立刻有感，那么就可以解决你的问题。如果你很想弄懂它的意思，拿出手机查它的意思，你也一定会有收获。
谢谢。所以等于解读的过程也是一个回到自己，然后面对自己，然后去跟古人交流沟通，或者甚至跟宇宙交通的一个过程。哦，真的。请问一下，就是您制作五行卡的过程中是怎么样选择那些五行卡的内容？因为您提到的那些古人都说了非常非常多的话，那您怎么选择出这些内容放在五行卡上？
首先，我们要先回到一个最根本的东西，就是原理。我们的每一句话在挑选的时候都有一个很基本的原理，就是我们希望抽到这一张卡片的人可以受到祝福。所以在那么多的古籍里面，在我们的 online 的会员里面，有人陪我一起设计这个卡片，他们就知道我已经为了设计这个卡片，把古籍全部都筛选过一遍，然后近视还加深了。眼镜行老板还说，这不可能，你这个年纪怎么可能近视会加深？是因为我们真的很仔细在挑选。那挑选的过程里面，当然那个系统比较庞大。那我简单的说，就是在所有的语句里面，我们挑选中性的、祝福型的、给予提示型的文字，让大家可以回到我们的内心去询问，我能不能就此得到祝福，并且可以经由这些文字的启发，让自己甚至让家人或者朋友得到幸福。这个就是一个很基本的原理，挑选祝福跟提示的文字，让你受到启发。
谢谢，太有启发性了，真的，光听您讲这个过程就非常有启发性，而且真的是，就是这个卡片本身已经由您的心意还有智慧灌注在里面，所以我想使用的人一定都会有很大的收获。好的，谢谢您。我想我们的问答时间也到了。那今天谢谢您的分享，我们获益良多。谢谢 Caroline。
拜拜。
Thank you. Bye bye. Okay, thank you, Caroline, for the great presentation and Q&A session. Now we will move to our third speaker tonight. He is Paul Sharpe, also a very well-known Toastmaster. He has got his DTM several years ago, and he is the 2020 District 67 International Speech Champion. He just represented us, the District 67, to compete in the Region 14. And Paul is also the past president of TGIF Christian Toastmasters Club and the charter president of Born to Shine Toastmasters Club. He's also a past area H1 director. He is a well-known professional coach and trainer in Taiwan and in Toastmasters. He has conducted many district conference workshops and other training for the benefit of members. I myself have been to Paul's evaluation workshop once, and I still remember clearly that the two principles he gave us. He told us that being an evaluator is to encourage and enable the speaker. After knowing him for some time, I have found out that to encourage and to enable people is actually Paul's living style, Paul's lifestyle. He's a person who always encourages and enables himself and the people surrounding him. Today, he is going to do the project, level 2 project. It's a required project for every path. And it's a level 3, project 3, Introduction to Toastmasters Mentoring. And this project is to clearly define how Toastmasters envisions mentoring. And the speaker has to write and present a 5 to 7 minute speech about a time when the speaker was a protege. And the speaker has to share the impact and importance of having a mentor. And sorry, may I see the previous slide? Thank you, Richard. And today, his speech title is The Leader of the Band. The Leader of the Band. Let's welcome Paul Sharpe.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will never forget the first time I met my mentor. It was way back in July 2013 at the International Language Institute on the 6th floor on Zhongsha East Road here in Taipei. We were both attending a talk about Nelson Mandela from famed South African photographer, Toby Openshaw. And he was sitting next to me. He had this long sleeve shirt on, these jeans, and he looked so smart, just sitting there. We said hello to each other, we greeted each other, but we didn't really speak. After the talk, we went to have dinner together with the speaker, and we didn't really talk. I thought I would never see him again. I thought that would be about it. But 3 months later, my wife invited me to go to the charter ceremony of TGIF, Christian Toastmasters Club. And when I walked in the door, there was the leader of my band, standing in the front, in the same style of shirt, long sleeve shirt, pair of jeans, this time a blue jacket, a red bow tie, and as I recall, a red hat. His name is none other than Lester Lim. You see, I call Lester the leader of the band because one of my favorite songs in the world is a song called The Leader of the Band. And when I think of the relationship I formed with Lester It goes all the way back to that meeting, that charter ceremony in 2013. Because I believe truly that me and every president who has followed Lester in TGIF Christian Toastmasters are just living legacies to the leader of our band in TGIF Christian Toastmasters. The song itself was written by a guy called Dan Fogelberg, and it's called The Leader of the Band. And it is about his father and the legacy his father left behind. And for me, Lester has left an incredible legacy in TGIF and also Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters. And that legacy was highlighted in his 2013 charter ceremony speech and reiterated a year later in his speech when he stepped down from the presidency. And that is every single human being who comes into TGIF Christian Toastmasters will be treated as a VIP guest that God himself has sent. Now, I've heard many, many people in this life share stories, share principles, share ways of living. But when you've walked beside them, they haven't lived what they've said. They haven't walked the talk. Lester was different. You see, after that charter ceremony, I did not want to go back to TGI Christian Toastmasters. I thought, well, I supported my wife and that was it. I didn't want to go back. But my problem was, my mother was in Taiwan. And 2 weeks after that ceremony, she said to me, hey, Paul, let's go back to Toastmasters. And I said, okay. And 2 weeks later, she said, let's go back to Toastmasters. And I said, okay. And 7 years later, I'm still going back. But at every single meeting, Lester has always said, treat every single person as a VIP guest that God himself has sent. But I believe Lester was the mentor that God sent into my life. Because over the last 7 years, I've walked side by side with Lester, building TGIF and Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters. And he has never once wavered from that single truth that he preaches, that every single person is a VIP guest that God himself has sent. I've seen Lester in many situations in TGIF, in situations in Born to Shine, in situations in his business, in situations at church, dealing with difficult people, people that nobody else wants to talk to. And yet, when there's that one person who walks into the club, the strange person, the weird person, that nobody wants to talk to, who is standing in front of that person? Lester, with a big smile on his face and saying, welcome, my friend. You are a VIP guest that God himself sent. And I believe Lester is the mentor that God sent to me because I needed to learn that lesson. I needed to learn how to see the value of people more clearly, in a meaningful way. And because of this single truth that Lester lived, I chose him as my life mentor, not as my Toastmasters mentor, as my life mentor. Because in Toastmasters, we are surrounded by great speakers, we are surrounded by great leaders, and we can choose mentors to teach us how to speak, how to lead. But we rarely have the opportunity to choose mentors who will teach us how to live. And the reason why I chose Lester Lynn to be my life mentor with that single vision is because I believe every great mentor has a great vision, not only for themselves, but for the people they surround themselves with. And Lester's great vision, his incredibly amazing vision, is to simply see people as VIP guests that God himself has sent. And this has had a huge impact, not only on my life, not only on the life of my wife or the people in our club, but in the greater Toastmasters community, to my students, to my family, to the people I meet on the street. Because every time I meet a person that I just don't like, who's in my head? Lester Lynn's face. Who's in my ear? Lester Lynn's voice. Paul, this person is a VIP guest that God himself has sent. Treat them as such. Lester's vision has had a powerful impact on us, and he is truly the leader of our band. In TGIF and Born to Shine Christian Toastmasters, his vision is clearly reflected. Our clubs have regularly been amongst the best clubs in Taiwan, always getting DCP 10, always having meetings with 30 or 40 people. And people often look at myself or Alex Shih or Irish Cho or Queenie or other leaders in our club, and they always look at us and say, well, you guys are doing all the hard work. But I refer back to that song. Every single one of us are just a living legacy to the leader of our band. The powerful mentor, the powerful life mentor, the powerful Toastmasters mentor is the one that will have a grand vision, not only for himself, but for every single person he meets. And yes, Lester's grand vision is that you, the people listening here today, are VIP guests that God himself has sent. And we hope one day you can join us and meet us in our meetings. I am just the living legacy of the leader of our band, Session Master.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was wonderful. Wow. It's
Thank you.
incredible that you have a Toastmaster mentor, from a Toastmaster mentor to who developed into a life mentor. Thank you so
Yes.
much for your sharing.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So before the Q&A session, so people please type in your questions now. And before the Q&A session, we would like to ask you to share what you have learned from doing this project and what the benefits are for doing the project. Thank you. Excuse, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, okay, so could you please tell us like what you have learned from doing this particular project and
From doing this project?
the benefits of doing this project.
Yeah, excuse me, can I just drink some
So
water?
please take your time.
Yeah, sorry.
No
The benefit of
problem.
this project is really gave me a chance to sit down and think about who in Toastmasters really impacted me. And of course, I've been surrounded by amazing people like Simone, Nash, Matthew Mack, George Yen. A lot of people have been around me. But when I really look back at the core value of the core of why I stayed in Toastmasters, and I spoke about this in a speech last night, which I'll upload to our YouTube channel later. You can all watch it. But I stayed in Toastmasters because, to be honest, like the last 4 or 5 years in Toastmasters, a lot of my own development as a speaker has come from me, like really studying, reading books. But I've stayed in Toastmasters for a simple reason, is because I feel valued in our club. I feel that I'm valued in the club. And just going through the speech, and the speech I did last night was like really just good to reflect on the journey of Toastmasters. And I think that's so important to reflect on the people that have had an impact in my life in Toastmasters. And Lester's, you know, he's the foundation of our club. Like every president, as I said, he's the foundation. And when you look back and you look back and you look back, you go deeper, and you look at the really base of our clubs, it's Lester's. We stand on Lester's shoulders. We are just the living legacy of him, and we're proud to be that.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's a very meaningful project that forces us to look back of our experience as a junior Toastmaster. So through your story, I have figured out that to have a very good mentorship relationship, it takes 2 people in it. So usually we are taught how to be a good mentor. Can you tell us through your experience or professional knowledge how to be a good mentee or protege?
Honestly, the truth is to have a thick skin. Honestly, to have a thick skin, because, you know, if you want to have a great mentor in life, you know, and I mean what I say, like Lester, if he sees me doing things that I don't like, if he looks at my life and he sees me something that he disagrees with, he'll sit down and be honest with me. He'll say, hey, Paul, I don't think you should do things like that. He'll say it nicely, but you know, if you have a soft skin, you're gonna get offended. And I think in the current world that we live, people are, you know, we have a phrase in English called snowflakes. You can't be a snowflake. If you want to have a good mentor in your life, you've got to be willing to take the punches on the chin, right? And be willing to take the criticism. And Lester's seen me in my worst. Like, you know, I've entered so many competitions and I know the emotional investment in the competition, for example, and you don't win or you just don't do well and you just get like so frustrated. And, you know, Lester's like, you need to calm down. You're wrong. You can't be angry about this. You need to calm down. You know? And he always challenges me. And you need to be willing to accept that they're going to criticize you, but it comes from a place of love. It doesn't come from a place where they want to hurt you. They're trying to help you grow. And as long as you accept that, as long as you have that trust that these people are giving you advice not to hurt you, but to help you, you know, and you have tough skin, then you can take it. And I think that's the most important thing, having a tough skin.
Yes, okay, have a tough thick skin.
Yeah,
Okay,
we are
that's
being
very good
bolishinga.
advice.
Okay, you're bolishinga.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's actually wise. Very good. Okay,
Yeah.
may I check with the timer? Is the card correct? Okay, so we still have time, is that right? Okay, because I saw a red card. Okay, great. So it's correct. So I think we still have like
Sorry,
5 minutes.
is the sharing started, or is it the sharing or the Q&A session?
Oh, Q&A session. We have started the Q&A session.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you were timing for the sharing. Okay, thank you. Okay, so next question. It's an interesting question. So, how did you get so lucky to have Lester as your mentor?
Yeah,
So sometimes we don't have the luck.
Yeah, no, I mean, we are Christians, and it's kind of like, well, you know, in some way we believe that God has a destiny for our lives and God has a plan for our lives. And I think that was just a bit of God's plan for my life to meet Lester, because at that time, when I joined Toastmasters, I was actually going through a lot of issues in my life. I was very depressed. I had lost my job. I had faced a lot of challenges in my life, and I wasn't doing very well. And I think Lester, like God said, you know, you need this guy to help you. And not only him, I mean, Lester's one of them. There's also like Douglas Wang, who was actually, in the beginning, Douglas Wang helped me like prepare my speeches and all that. But, you know, Lester, this vision that Lester had, even Douglas Wang was building on that vision. And that's why I say Lester's the life mentor, you know. But there were a lot of people around me, and not just Lester, but it was like Douglas Wang was just an incredible mentor as well. Other people around me, like Joseph Kalpin, my own wife, Queenie, just all those people around me. I just think God put them in my life, and that's it. You know, I can't explain it any other way. Yeah.
Great, thank you. And next question is, how do you find the value of someone you probably don't like?
I will always see them as a VIP guest that God himself sent. That's it. Really, like if you know, in this world today, and I said this in the club like 3 times now, you know, if you know, we see what's going on in America right now, we see what's going on around the world right now, there's just so much hate. And I say this, if everybody had a place like TGIF or Born to Shine to come to every Friday night, I'm sure your clubs are the same, I can only speak for mine, but if everybody had a place like TGIF or Born to Shine to come to every night, where we don't see anything except a child of God. And that child of God, because God loved us, we must love them. Because we see that child of God that we must love, this world would be a much better place. You know, honestly, that's what I think. And so even if there are people that I don't like, and honestly, like I've met people I don't like, and what I do, I'll phone Lester, say, hey, Lester, I don't like this person. And Lester will tell me, hey, Paul, it's a VIP guest that God himself sent. And bye-bye, put the phone down, done. Simple as that. Really, like see them as a human being first. Always, yeah.
Great, thank you. A follow-up question. So when you see them as VIPs, but how do you deal with people who respond to you with indifference?
You continue throwing love at them.
Yes.
You just continue. You never stop. And we're pretty relentless in our club with that, right? We're pretty relentless with it. You know, it's not just me. It's, you know, I'm probably the worst one of it, you know, but we've had great presidents who do it all the time. Like right now, current president, Irish Cho. I said last night, if you know Irish Cho, you will never be hungry and you will always have a book to read. My own wife, Queenie, like just the amount of time and effort she spent when she was president, our previous president, Alice Chen, Jenny Tang, Joseph Kalpin, just incredible leaders with so much empathy. And it's not just me, it's our whole club. It's the culture that we built. that just continues to show these people that come into our clubs that they are valuable children of God that we must always love. And when we just do that, people just feel that sense, and it's very hard to be indifferent to love. And if they are, they generally leave very quickly. But it's very difficult. It's very difficult to be indifferent to that. You either recognize and accept it, or you walk away. But we will never stop. We are relentless with it.
Okay, so one day they will be melted. Very
Hopefully.
good. Thank you.
It's like a bright sun.
Yes. Okay. So, what if you are a very enthusiastic mentor, trying your best to help your mentee, but the mentee is very reluctant to take your advice?
You can't help people who don't want to help themselves, so stop wasting your time. Seriously, like, okay, so it's two things there. It's like, one, if they're reluctant to take your advice, okay, let them fail. Let them continue to fail until they want to listen to you. So as long as they're enthusiastic. But if they're not enthusiastic, then if they don't want to try, then just, okay, go find a new mentor. Really, like, don't waste your time. It's, you know, certain relationships work. You know, we recognize certain relationships work. Certain people jive with certain people. And I've had mentees that have come in and they said, I want you to be my mentor. And my condition to be my mentee is a very difficult thing. You have to attend every single meeting of TGIF and Born to Shine every single Friday night, unless you have a good reason not to come. You need to be committed to do like 4 or 5 speeches every 6 months. You need to commit to actually serving in the club. So to be my mentee, I would tell people, if you want to be my mentee, this is what you got to do. And if you're not prepared to do that, I'm not prepared to help you, because I only want to help people who want to help themselves. Simple as that.
Yes, thank you very much. Okay, your
Sure.
speech and your sharing are
No
both
problem.
very enlightening. Hope we
Sure.
will become better protege and mentors. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Okay.
Okay, so the time is up. Now it comes to our appreciation time. We really appreciate everyone who has participated in this training session. Okay, okay, so for the first one, I don't have to say talk too much about the appreciation because it's myself. Okay, so I should pose for the picture, is that right? So our photographer will take a picture for everyone who is getting the certificate of appreciation. So our photographer tonight is Yaslin. Okay, you took one already. Okay, so next we are going to show the certificate of appreciation to the support team, and they are Ben, Gao, Richard, Luo, Alex, Shi, Johnson, Yang, Kevin, He, and Yaslin Wang. And of course, Simone is behind the scene, okay, doing a lot of things. I think the Pathways online interactive training session is a very good demonstration of how leaders can change the crisis into an advantage. Since we have the COVID-19 crisis, we don't really have many chances to meet face-to-face. And our leaders of the Pathways Committee have made this opportunity an advantage for everyone to learn how to do all the Pathways projects. This is really a very good demonstration of great leadership during crisis time. Thank you very much, all these leaders and helpers. Sorry, because there are multiple people, we cannot take a photo of you, but we really appreciate your efforts and time. Thank you. And next, we will thank our honorable speaker, Carol Ling, for her presentation and answers to the questions tonight. Let's spotlight Caroline for picture. Okay. Maybe our photographer can take several photos. Okay, okay, it's done. Thank you very much, Caroline. You always offer positive energy. Very good. And then our next speaker we would like to thank is Paul Sharpe from TGIF, Toastmasters. Okay, thank you. Please pose for the photo. TGIF people are very good at posing for the photos if you have been to their meetings. So that's what most of our clubs should learn. Okay, thank you, Paul. It's done. Okay, so the last certificate of appreciation. Okay, so we don't have one for Simone. Oh, Simone, because this.
There should be.
Yes.
Okay. Well, maybe it's been deleted. It's okay, no problem.
Okay, so we should definitely thank Simone. Yes, okay, please, Yaslin, please take a photo for Simone. Thank you. We really want to thank Simone for conducting the whole training session series. Okay, so I didn't know how much effort and time she devoted into the whole program until I personally was invited to be a host tonight. So she personally gave me more than 1 hour online training about how to be the host for the training session. And she handmade the PowerPoint slides, slide by slide, all by herself. So we cannot thank her enough for all the excellent work done for the Toastmasters community. Thank you, Simone. Okay, so next I should promote the Pathways question and answers FB group. Okay, so we have a District 67 Pathways Q&A FB group. Please scan the QR code and join this group. Believe me, every time when you have a question, there is definitely at least one answer, and very soon and very precise. So you will get any help you want. And they are experts, and they are enthusiast experts there to help you. Please join this Facebook group. Thank you. And next, so now I have to turn to speak Chinese. Okay, so 我们下一次的训练课程是中文的训练课程，时间是在7月18号星期六晚上，还是8点到9点半。那有3位非常有名有成就的领导者跟讲者会来分享3个还是一样3个 project。第一位是张海星，他会分享活力领导的回顾学习历程。那另外葛淑兰会分享第3个等级的运用描述性词汇的这个项目。最后是陈素怡会分享第4个等级的透过正向教练达成改进。那对不起，这3个那个路径分别是 dynamic leadership， 就是活力领导，然后跟那个pathways 的 mentor program。然后第3个 path 是 effective coaching， 就是有效率的教练。好，最后我们要拍一个 那个集体的照片。Let's have a group photo. Let's take a group photo. Everyone, please turn on your video so that you can be taken. Okay, please pose for the photo and please keep the pose for a while because we have not only one page of the photo. Okay, yes, Lynn is. Okay, so but it seems that some people turned their cameras on quite late. May I bother Yesley to take more because some more people just turned on their videos. Thank you, Yesley. Yay. Okay, I think it's done. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here tonight. It has been a wonderful night with all of you, with all these beautiful faces. Thank you so much. And please do come for our next session. Okay, in Chinese, 用中文的. Okay, so may I know if there are people who